Tonight, around 6 or 7 o'clock, you're going to sit down for dinner. Your stomach will growl right on schedule. You won't question it. You'll just eat. But the real answer for why you do this at 3 fixed points every single day is far stranger than you think. Your body doesn't actually run on a 3-meal clock. It never did. For most of human history, there was no clock at all. Go back 200,000 years. Your ancestors were not eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They were eating when food existed and starving when it didn't. Anthropologist Frank Marlowe spent years living among the Hadza people of Tanzania, one of the last groups on Earth still surviving mostly on hunting and gathering. What he documented wasn't 3 meals, it was grazing, small bites throughout the day, a handful of berries here, a chunk of meat there, sometimes nothing for 2 days straight, followed by a massive feast when a hunt succeeded. Your body was built for that rhythm. Feast, then famine, then feast again. So where did 3 meals a day actually come from? Not biology. Timing. The first shift happened with fire. Richard Wrangham, a biological anthropologist at Harvard, has spent decades studying what cooking did to the human body. His research suggests that once early humans learned to cook food, something changed permanently. Cooked food is easier to digest. It delivers more calories per bite, and it takes less time to eat. This meant something huge. For the first time, humans could eat a large amount of food in one sitting instead of chewing raw plants for hours. Cooking didn't just change what you eat, it changed how often you needed to eat. But even with cooking, meals weren't fixed. They still followed availability. Hunt in the morning, eat when you return. Gather roots at midday, eat on the spot. There was no dinner bell. There was no clock on the wall because there was no wall, and there was no clock. So when did 3 meals a day become a rule instead of an accident? The answer is more recent than you'd expect. Food historian Abigail Carroll traced the origin of the American 3-meal structure and found it wasn't ancient at all. It was industrial. Before factories, most people lived on farms. They ate when the work allowed it. A big meal before dawn. Something light at midday. Whatever was left at night. Meals bent around the sun and the season. Then the factory whistle changed everything. Once large numbers of people started working identical shifts in identical buildings, meals had to be scheduled too. You couldn't eat whenever your body told you to anymore. You ate during the break the factory gave you. Breakfast before the shift. Lunch during the break. Dinner after the whistle blew. 3 meals weren't a biological need. They were a scheduling solution for the industrial workforce, and once that pattern existed, culture locked it in. Schools built it into the day. Restaurants built menus around it. Clocks on kitchen walls made it feel permanent, ancient, natural. It isn't any of those things. It's barely 200 years old. Here's the part that should surprise you. Neuroscientist Sachin Panda at the Salk Institute has spent years studying something called circadian rhythm and how it governs digestion. His research shows your body has an internal clock, but it isn't set to 8 a.m., noon, 6 p.m. It's set to light and darkness. Your liver, your pancreas, even your gut bacteria shift their activity based on sunlight exposure, not on what time your microwave says it is. Panda's studies on time-restricted eating found something remarkable. When people compress their eating into a shorter window that aligns with daylight, metabolic markers improve. Blood sugar stabilizes. Inflammation drops. The body, it turns out, still remembers the feast and fast rhythm your ancestors lived by. It just doesn't get asked to use it anymore. So if your body wasn't built for 3 meals, why does it feel so normal now? Because habit rewires expectation. If you eat breakfast at 7 every single day, your body starts producing hunger signals at 7, whether or not you actually need the calories. This is called anticipatory hunger. Your stomach isn't predicting a biological need. It's predicting a pattern you trained it to expect. Which means the hunger you feel at noon isn't ancient wisdom, it's a habit dressed up as instinct. Think about that for a second. The thing that feels most automatic about your day, the thing that feels hardwired into your biology, was actually installed by a factory schedule less than 2 centuries ago. And it didn't stop at 3. Look around today and you'll notice the pattern splintering again. Snacking between meals, intermittent fasting, 6 small meals a day for bodybuilders, skipping breakfast entirely for others. None of these are new discoveries about the human body. They're just different cultural experiments layered on top of the same ancient system, one that never needed a schedule in the first place. Your ancestors didn't ask what time it was before they ate. They asked whether food was in front of them. That single shift, from availability to schedule, from hunger to habit, is one of the most invisible transformations in human history. It didn't require a war. It didn't require a vote. It just required enough people working the same hours long enough for their bodies to forget an older, more flexible rhythm. So the next time your stomach growls right at noon, right on cue, ask yourself something. Is that hunger? Or is that a factory whistle your body still hears more than a century after the last one stopped ringing? Tonight, when you sit down for dinner at 6 or 7 o'clock, your stomach will growl right on schedule. You won't question it, but now you know. That clock was never yours to begin with.